Hi, Facebook friends. I'm meteorologist Kelly Green. Thank you so much for sticking around with us. It's been a very busy night. Sean Ash has headed out, so I'm taking over now. And the good news is the severe thunderstorm warnings that were in effect have now been expired. So that's definitely some good news. Behind me, you can see one of our cams. It is definitely showing a light show here. And that's because we still have some showers and thunderstorms that are moving back into the metro area. So let's go ahead and take a look at live Doppler 13 radar, and we still have some very strong storms here moving through the area. So I'll go ahead and put this in motion. We had the severe thunderstorm warnings that were in effect for Vigo all the way down really into Jackson County. Now that last severe thunderstorm warning is actually out of our viewing area. But we have still a lot of initialized storm coverage that's starting to redevelop. So more storms. These are not severe. They are heavy though, and they are slowly pushing off to the east. And we'll look a little bit farther south of this area where we have the flash flood warnings that are in effect. And this is really going to be the story, guys. Overnight, that's what we're going to be watching out for, is going to be the very heavy downpours within these storms that have just been trained with one storm over another, just continuing to bring in the very heavy rainfall. I want to expand this out for you to see farther off to the west and northwest into central Illinois. We're still picking up severe thunderstorms from Iowa into Illinois, and all of that will still be working its way towards us with the same disturbances that are associated with that. So taking a look here again, we still have another warning that's starting to pop up here. Let me see if I can click onto that one. That one's in effect until 12:15. We'll see if that continues to push farther to the east. And that is a little bit stronger storm cell, but zooming in here closer, we can see that there is some hot pinks associated with that. We typically look at hail cores within those. So I'm going to go back into our analysis and go into our reflectivity. And you can see that those warnings have expired, but that new one is now in effect in Illinois. So that could make its way into western Indiana as well. And I'll stop the motion on this because this is just the past 30 minutes, but that warned storm just expired a few minutes ago. So I'll turn off the laps here, and we can see that these are all pushing off to the east, southeast, making its way towards Clear Creek in about 16 minutes, Guthrie in about 27 minutes. There's an 80% chance of hail. There's a 30% chance that the hail could be severe. Right now, this is picking up that it's likely 7/500ths of an inch of hail, so that's below what we consider severe. So I'll turn that off. Again, the flash flood warning for this northern one is until 3:15. This one that stretches from Brown into Bartholomew down to Jackson County until 4 a.m. And this one farther south in Monroe County, the southern portion of Monroe County, that one is until 4:30 a.m. As you can see, a lot of heavy rain will be working around that area, continuing to push over the southern portion of Monroe County and farther south. So because the National Weather Service has expired the severe thunderstorm warnings for those counties in south central Indiana, we're still looking at the very heavy rain and likely some hail. So let's take a look at really just the past heavy rain that has fallen in that area and go to our hail rate. Give me a moment to pull that up. If I can find it here. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the lightning and the warnings and the skits here as I zoom in a little closer. We had some heavy rain reports in Bloomington, and I'll just query that area just southwest of Bloomington. This is picking up now. Again, this is a radar estimate rainfall rate of 4.3 inches of rain per hour. Let's go down to Clear Creek. This one is depicting over 5 inches of rain in an hour. Lake Monroe, 5.5 inches of rain per hour. Incredible. Clear this off and zoom out a little bit farther here. We'll take a look. Gosport has been hit several times tonight as well, but and even possibly some rotation that was moving through that stretch. We'll query that as well. Just north of 67, 4.6 inches of rain per hour. Here's Spencer in the far southwestern portion of what I have pulled up here. Over 4 inches of rain estimated per hour. So let's zoom all the way out here, and you can see the rain estimates for this is obviously south central Indiana is going to be hit the hardest tonight, but that doesn't mean that we can't see more back building up north of this area. So while areas like Frankfort, Lafayette, Tippecanoe County, Clinton County, Howard County haven't seen a lot of rain, we're going to still watch that and monitor it, although the best chances of more the steadier rain will start to develop along the I-70, I-74 corridor. We've been talking about that all day. So let's go ahead and take a look quickly at our future track. Just to show you what we do expect to happen the rest of the overnight, because we do expect to still see the heavy rain falling. So currently on radar, we're not seeing quite that spread of rain. So that means that this model may not be handling this super great. However, that being said, we still expect to see these storms back building as we have more showers and storms off to our west in Illinois. So they are still spreading likely across that I-74, I-70 corridor. This is at 1:30 a.m. As you can see, as we move along the morning hours early at 2:30 in the morning, still a lot of heavy rain associated with that. And again, we still have that flash flood warning that's in effect for Brown, Clay, Greene, Monroe, and Owen counties, and that area will likely get hit again at 3:30 in the morning. It's one of the reasons why we see those warnings lasting until 4:30 in the morning, because we're still going to see heavy downpours. Looks like I have a storm report here from Castleton, reports of hail, egg-sized hail at 2 inches. That was at 6:50 tonight, so that's a new report that came in from earlier this evening, obviously, but nonetheless. And the hail was absolutely incredible with this storm. I do think a lot of this is going to be moving on out of here by about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and with that we'll start to see some dry time. However, we could still see more heavy rain moving in, at least some scattered storms later in the afternoon. Flash flood watch is in effect until 10 a.m. on Saturday, and that does include most of central Indiana. And again, right along that I-74 corridor, I-70 corridor, where that's where we still are going to see more of this back building of storms, and more of these storms spreading north to south. 1 to 3 inches, very likely, and most areas have already seen that in this area, and then even some localized 4 to 5 inches of rain. All right, so during the overnight, temperatures will fall into those low 70s and upper 60s, so we're not going to see much relief at all. And then as we go into tomorrow, we have the threat of more severe thunderstorms, and I think these will be much more few and far between. But zooming in, you can see it does include all of central Indiana. And taking a look at future track as we go through tomorrow morning, that storm system moves on out, and then we'll start to see more isolated thunderstorms developing. This is at 2:30 in the afternoon, and this is just one model. Another model actually has things holding off until 7 p.m. So hopefully we'll have a lot of dry time tomorrow. It is going to be a hot day, so not out of the question that we could see some of these thunderstorms popping up on radar. So that will continue to be the case into the evening hours tomorrow night. I'll be back here with you tomorrow evening. Tomorrow afternoon will be a hot day. Temperatures will soar to 87 degrees, hot and humid still, with those winds out of the southwest a good chunk of the day. As we go into Sunday, we are going to see temperatures climbing back into the upper 80s, possibly near 90 degrees. And then here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll see a high of 89 again on Father's Day. And there is a chance of a thunderstorm, but think that will be very few and far between. However, Monday looks to be a bit stormy again. It will be cooler with a high of 83. High pressure builds back in by Tuesday, and that's going to drop down temperatures. The winds shift out of the north. Dew points dropped, so that allows the air temperature to cool off faster, down to 56 Tuesday morning. 71 will be the high later on. Also want to give you a look at some of the hailstones that we did have that and the tornado damage that we had. Some of you may have seen some of this on the 11 o'clock news that we just had. This was from Officer Josh Stevenson, and it was from Northeast Jay County. Officer Stevenson is an officer in Portland, Indiana, and he took these pictures. Obviously some destruction of some farms, unfortunately. Roofs torn off of the buildings there, both the home and of the barn. And another view here of another home there where a lot of destruction occurred, and you can see just the tornadic damage allowing the rooftop of that home. You can see on the left-hand lower side of that picture where the roof has just been torn off and set down on the ground. It's incredible how this damage works with the rotation of the atmosphere. And here's some more. Look at these. This is from the sheriff's page from Jay County, their Facebook page. The ceiling fans being impacted by tornadic rotation. And this home here destroyed the silo that was likely in the foreground and just, you know, ripping them and tearing them into shreds and twisting them around and around, which is a good sign of that there was rotation in that atmosphere. And the National Weather Service will likely go out and survey this area to decide on, yes, it was a tornado, but also the type of tornado. How much wind did it take? How strong of strength of wind was it that moved through this area? Just another view here from Jay County Sheriff's Facebook page. And this final one of another farm just destroyed. It's just heartbreaking to see this. All those farmers have had a rough season already with heavy rain earlier this spring and now dealing with this in Jay County. Okay, so let's shift gears to hail size and just taking a look at, because we've had a lot of reports and you may have been trying to figure out, okay, what's what. We've had golf ball size hail. That is 1.75 inches. Tennis ball hail, we did have a report of that. 2.5 inches of hail, severe hail. Softball is 4 inches. We did have a baseball size hail at 2.75 inches. Anything over 1 inch in size is considered severe. That's where it actually causes damage. Back when I first started broadcasting meteorology, we had it down to 3/4 of an inch of hail, but then insurance companies came out and said, you know what, we actually don't have severe damage from that size. It's actually 1 inch or larger. So that's why we consider quarter size 1 inch is actually severe. So I'm just going to quickly go through some of these. I'll go back to radar here shortly. Nora Lindsay sent this one in from Lawrence. You can see she put the quarter next to the hail, and you can see the little spikes in the hail there as well. It's just all the strong updrafts that force that hailstone into the atmosphere. Here was some hail damage from Community North parking lot here in Indianapolis, and another windshield busted. I'm sure that is going to be the case for many people today. Randy Buckby of Oaklandon sent this one in. Obviously very large hail pieces there. Phil Burton sent this one in from the Fall Creek area. Here's from Castleton Square. You can see even just more of the core of that with the rings wrapping around that hailstone and how it forms. Joseph Luttrell sent that one in. And Susan Batt, she is a co-worker of ours here at WTHR. This was taken from Nora, Indiana, and those are a little bit smaller. However, they're still considered severe. Here's a look at that, the same hail pieces that she collected, and she put the quarter next to it, and you can see they are larger than the quarter, so they are over 1 inch in size. Mike from New Pal, this one is a little bit stretched. I apologize for that. He sent this one in, humongous size hail there. And here is the one that we did show on the air a couple times because you know what, it's worth it. It is incredible to see this. Rebecca Elkins took this picture, baseball sized hail. And the reference of the baseball really helps understand the size of that. We also had some cool mammatus clouds. This was from Carmel. Our own Matt Wisner took this picture. And a little close-up of that. Those are little pockets of cold air in the clouds. So it's just a little, it's very interesting and fascinating. We also had a lot of lightning. We still are getting lightning out of these storms sent in by Sean Brown. Another picture there of incredible lightning show. Let's go back to radar, and I will bring up our reflectivity. And I'll put the lightning is on. Okay, so we're having a heavy downpour right now in downtown Indianapolis. I can hear it on our roof. So these are just exploding once we have a little bit of a lift come through. Watch it. This is the past 15 minutes. 15 minutes just explodes. The atmosphere is so primed with so much moisture in the atmosphere. It doesn't take much. The cap has been broken and these are just firing away. I'll zoom out here. And again, this is just 15 minutes. Heavy downpours moving into Hendricks County. And I'm going to take this out to a whole hour this time. So you can see how they're moving from northwest to southeast. And again, we still had the very heavy rain. And likely there was some gusty winds on the leading edge of those storms that moved out of south central Indiana, now moving into southern Indiana. It's starting to at least, the rain is starting to lighten up a little bit in Bloomington, but my goodness, incredibly heavy downpours in Monroe County, moving from Ellettsville. And unfortunately, it's not even done. We still have more back building behind it that's going to be moving south into the area. But a lot of this movement is from northwest to southeast. Another strong storm here. Zoom in here. Gosh, over Lynn. Just moved through Winchester. Let's put on the hail. Look at the hail swath. And I'll turn off the hour here. You can see the lapsing of it. And I'll turn off the lightning tracker here. Okay, so there's likely some hail within this one. I don't know. I couldn't pixel query this earlier. Yeah, for some reason that's not letting me. But it's likely some very large hail within that. Let me see if the chat room has anything about that storm there. Let me switch this back to reflectivity. No, I'll go back to Bloomington though, because another report of the heavy rain that moved through there. The weather station there reported over 3 inches of rain in about 45 minutes. That's incredible. Very incredible heavy rain through that area. And that's what the radar was picking up too. 4 inches per hour. So that's why the flash flood warning is in effect. I'll put that warning back on so you can see it. And here we go. We have a warning in effect here as well for this is until 12:30 a.m. for Randolph County, and then it goes into Illinois. Okay. Bear with me, friends. Okay, so that's in there. Come on. Let me back up here. So likely some large hail on that. Let me see if there's any more reports on that one. And click on this one, and this is until 12:30 a.m. And this one isn't. This one should be for 12:45 actually, for Wayne County, and Wayne County is there 12:45 and 12:30 for Randolph County and Wayne County with these strong storms as they continue to push. Let's put it in motion. And this is just 1 hour, so you can just see how these just don't take much time to blow up. All right. I'm going to go ahead and step off just for a moment, Nick, and come over here so I can see some Facebook updates. If anybody had some questions, I can try to jump on here and evaluate. Give me a moment, please. Oh, I don't want to hear myself talking. Okay, friends, bear with me. I can hear myself talking. That's just weird. Okay, so, okay. Do you guys have any questions? Did I say Ohio? I said Illinois instead of Ohio. I'm not sure. I apologize if I did. You could hear 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts in the morning, Anita. I think most of the stronger winds are going to be below that. We still could see some gusty winds out of these, no doubt, but heavy rain is likely going to be the biggest factor within these storms. Go ahead and pause this and put it on no lapse here. And again, we still have these warned storms off in east central Indiana. So Randolph and Wayne counties, likely large hail associated within these storms, and just backing them up a little bit. I'll go slow with it so you can see as it was moving through Winchester, as I probably was talking to, and it just came on as a warning. A lot of large hail likely with this. I haven't seen any storm reports, but it's obviously late at night at this point. Just still more reports coming in from the earlier storms. Hey, and Ashley, I don't know if you need to talk to me, but I took off my IFB because I have programming in my ear. So if you guys wanted to chat with me, if there's anything that I need to know, I put it back in. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm going to go ahead and back this up. Yeah, you have it pulled up now? Okay, great. So this is some flash flooding out of Greensburg, some of the heavy rain that moved through. Let me see how many hours ago I can go back here. Wow, just an incredible video there. And unfortunately, this is what we consider flash flooding, where the water has nowhere to go. It's just sitting on the pavement there, and likely doesn't even have time to soak into the grass because it's coming down so fast and furious that it's just continuing to cause the flooding. So it takes several hours for it to go down. So wow, just some incredible video. Let's take a look here at Greensburg, and you can see that heavy storm that moved through, and they're still getting hit. So we don't actually have a flash flood warning in effect for Greensburg. And I will back this up here so you can see where the heaviest swath of rain came through. This was about starting around 8:18, and it continued. That first big wave moved down to about 9:19, so about an hour's worth of rain. And let's go ahead and look at the local rain rate on there and see if I can back that up here. Not sure if it'll let me. Might have to play a little game with this a little bit. Here we go. And you're seeing old warnings pop up too. Let me turn those off. So in Greensburg, this is suggesting over 6 inches per hour of rain that fell during that hour. Now, again, this is an estimate, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. However, we know that we've had some of these heavier rainfalls, 3-inch, 4 inches of rain. So it's definitely possible. And we said that 4 to 5 inches in some of these localized storms would be possible. Thanks, Ashley, for sharing that. Okay. All right, let me go back to no lapse here and go back to reflectivity. And I'll put on the lightning again. We know that there's so much lightning with these storms. They've just been really intense. And you can see we had mentioned, like, it was very quiet for the past, most of the evening for points north of Indianapolis. And now we're starting to see this back building in Clinton County. I just mentioned you, what, half an hour ago? Not even a half an hour ago that you've been pretty quiet. Well, now you're starting to see some storms. So some heavy rain within these storms, some lightning, possibly some hail, maybe not severe hail, but nonetheless could be some pea-sized hail within this storm in Boone County. Really heavier storms north of Lebanon, near Stringtown and Pike. Could be some large hail, in that area. And then on the western portion of the state too, we still have a lot of heavy rain. In Hendricks and Hamilton counties, all the way around, starting to work its way into Hancock County and eventually back likely into Madison County. So it's just going to be a busy night of storms. Put the warnings back on here with the flash flood warnings. This is the most concerning. So we definitely advise you to clear off. If you see any roads that are covered in water, please do not attempt to drive through them. That's what these flash flood warnings are for, to avoid traveling through any of those covered roads, because if any moving water can move a vehicle, about 12 inches is all it takes. All right, just a reminder that we still have these warned storms up here. And this one really in Randolph County, north of Richmond. It's the northern portion of the county, so it doesn't include Richmond, but that one is until 12:45. And like I showed you, this is just one of those that really popped up very quickly. So this is the past 15 minutes. So they're pretty fast movers and packing in a lot of rain, a lot of lightning, and certainly some hail associated with it as well. Okay, so let me see if there's anything new here in the chat room. Pop on here first. All right, I don't see anything new there, so bear with me, friends. Let's see, 4 minutes ago, Jennifer asked, is Indy under a watch? So we still have the watch in effect. Let me go ahead and pull that up for you as well. I turned it off just because it kind of muddies everything up. And let me turn off the time lapse. So you can see here, we do have this severe thunderstorm watch. It's in effect until 2 a.m. And all the areas in yellow are showing that that's the area that we still have a watch for. The warnings means you need to prepare for it now. You need to seek shelter and get in your safe place, or in this case, a flash flood warning. Avoid driving if you can. Watch out for your sump pumps. They're probably working overtime right now. And again, we still have this severe thunderstorm warning up here in northeastern Randolph County and in Wayne County. However, that doesn't look nearly as significant. It's this very heavy storm with lightning and obviously likely some hail. This is Fountain City that is really seeing the brunt of this. We'll take a look at the hail swath. Not anything to be concerned with that, thankfully. Okay. And let me turn that one off. That one's not working correctly. Not picking up a lot of hail with this. So that's good news, but nonetheless, it does look pretty intense. And for some reason, that county, Randolph, just came out of the watch. on my system, so that's a little strange. Okay, taking a look again at your questions, let's see, or comments. Storming, thundering, and lightning bad in Brownsburg. Thank you, Diane. I'll zoom back out. There's the hair swath showing farther north in Randolph where it was, and now it's moving farther east, and we have possibly some rotation within the storm in Ohio. So still seeing a lot of instability in Ohio, even though that area has been worked over pretty good as well. All right, I'm going to turn off the severe thunderstorm watch so we clean this up a bit. And we'll just zoom in here again towards some areas that haven't been hit for a while. Boone County from Kirkland down to Whitestown and into Zionsville. You're going to see some heavy downpours in Zionsville here in the next couple of minutes. Hamilton County, Noblesville seeing some heavy rain as well. And this is going to continue to push off to the southeast. I'll put this in 15-minute increments so you can see how they're just popping up, just developing and moving and exploding really as they just push off from the west, moving east and southeast. Just a pretty incredible setup here where it just has, we have so much instability, it doesn't take much for these just to go. And they've been going all night, especially here in south central Indiana. Just incredible lightning. All right, going back to Brownsburg. So as, I apologize, one of our Facebook friends mentioned Brownsburg. Heavy downpours right now in Brownsburg. You can see these just popped up in the past 20 minutes. So pretty amazing. Heavy downpours with that. Info on Bloomington. Well, we know we've had some very heavy rain in Bloomington. We have a flash flood warning in effect for Bloomington. Right now, the heaviest rain has moved south of Bloomington. However, we're likely going to see more, unfortunately, moving in to Bloomington. Monroe County has been hit hard. So if I take this back, you can see that heavy rain that moves through Bloomington. I'm backing it up and now moving it forward. So this is the past 1 hour over Bloomington, heavy downpours, likely large hail, at least some hail, and then finally taking a little bit of a break. But if you notice off to the northwest, that is likely going to continue to move from Ellettsville into Bloomington. More heavy rain into Monroe County. Just very unfortunate. And of course, we also have some severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect for Illinois. So things are still rocking, even all the way back in Iowa. Look at all those warnings. We don't have the radar turned on for those storms over there. But we are looking at the Indianapolis radar. Okay, so the Wayne County warning has been allowed to expire, and that's because it had already moved into Ohio. But this one is still until 12:45. I imagine that will expire before then. But this is the one I thought would see some hail near Fountain City, but we're not really seeing a lot. I'll turn off the lightning right now. And take a look here. The severe thunderstorm watch continues until 2 o'clock in the morning. Stacy asked if there's any rotation in any of these storms. So let's go ahead and take a look at our severe velocity. That storm north of Richmond and Wayne County. It's possible. I'm going to stay here and look at this. It's very weak if we do have any of that. I'm going to turn off the warning box here. So not a lot of strong winds with it. That's good news. This fountain. But when we look at this, we see a little bit of a possibility of rotation. I think it's going to be very weak. It's very broad. But definitely heavy rain and likely some hail. So this is the hail swath, and that's what we're probably going to see the most of, is the hail pushing through that area. And backing this up the 1 hour is just showing it here, because I was examining that storm just a few minutes ago, and it just popped up at 12:17. So it's about 5 minutes ago that it's starting to see the hail inside the storm. So yes, likely some hail, but and zoom out farther and see if there's anything else possibly out there as far as rotation goes. There's just a lot of great dynamics to work with in these storms. Let's see what's going on here on reflectivity. Could be a little bit of rotation trying to kick in. It's very, again, broad. It's really muddied up. It's not clean at all. So I don't feel very positive that that would be happening. A little range folding up here south of Pendleton, so that's nothing to be concerned about. So I think we're okay right now with any kind of rotation. We'll continue to monitor that situation, so I appreciate the question. Storming in Danville. Zoom into Danville. Sure is. The good news is it looks like it's moving on out. So it had some heavy rain. I turned off the lightning, put that back on. And yeah, so Danville, you're going to start to see that tapering off here in the next few minutes, but not out of the question that you could see more. Tanner asks, when is Noblesville done? Well, it's going to be a while, Noblesville, because we're going to see this area to the west that's still in Boone County. This is all going to be pushing, I should do southeast really. If I back this up, you can see the motion. See how it's moving more southeast, and they're building and just exploding as they run into those really prime, juicy ingredients that we have in the atmosphere. What about Marion? Please give us an update on Marion County. Okay, you're right, I should, because we have a lot of showers and thunderstorms overhead, heavy downpours, and these have just developed recently as well. I'll back this up, and this is at 11:45, about when we started this Facebook Live. And then these just, the urban heat island of Marion County just allowed these storms to fire up in the atmosphere and just squeeze out all that moisture. So very heavy rain, likely some hailers in here. Zooming in a little closer, Rocky Ripple could see some hail. Areas east of Meridian Street and south of 30th Street could see some hailers out of that, but not a lot, probably just pea-sized hail. So we're not seeing the big hail that we had earlier tonight. Possibly some hail in Boone County. You can see in near Zionsville some purples. Those just give us an idea that there could be the reflectivity that's depicting the hail. All right, update on tornado risk overnight for Indy and the Burbs. So Jessica is asking that question. There is still a risk here, but we're just we're looking at mainly heavy rain out of these storms and some hail. But it's certainly not out of the question that we could see some rotation within these storms. The severe thunderstorm warning looks like that one has been expired. Let me double check here. Okay. Until 12:30. Oh, I turned him off. Good grief. I'm tired, guys. My apologies. I'm like, where did that warning go? Okay, so this is still in effect. It's in effect till 12:45. So this one is not moving quite as fast as the others. Backing this up to midnight, you can see it's not as fast. However, it will hopefully, it'll likely start to impact portions of Richmond here shortly. It's moving more southeast. Excuse me. So we could see that warning expanded farther south. And that's why we're staying on here with you guys, so we can keep you updated as we go through the night. Because this has just been a very busy evening with lots of rain, very large hail, and now we're dealing with the flash flooding issues, especially south central Indiana, unfortunately. And it looks like we could see some larger hail out of this here. It's the west of Spencer and east of Clay City. So this is going to be heading towards Spencer. And see how this storm motion is pushing in. Does look like we could see some hail out of that one. It's already depicting that from our hail swath. I'll zoom out here so you can see where some of these hail swaths are. The one in Randolph County showing some decent hail swath there, but that's now moved into Ohio. And then Wayne County, that one as well. Very large hail. Not as large as it was, let me say that. We had baseball size hail, and we had some hail swaths that were showing some really intense sized hail. All right, going back to Facebook Live, and I appreciate you guys asking questions. Linda says Noblesville has had some lightning. Airport, please. Jen asked about the airport. That was 4 minutes ago. So Jen, let me turn back on reflectivity. If you're, I don't know if you're picking somebody up at the airport. I'm not sure if they are having issues with people landing. Ashley, I don't know if that's something you could look up for me. If the airport, if we're having any issues with people coming in, I know sometimes there's some flights around 12:30. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so Jen, Rossenberg, we're checking into the airport to see if there's any, delays on flights landing here. I don't know, but we'll look into it. Katie says lots of lightning in Trafalgar. Ready for some in Kokomo. Been boring up here, says Adam Cummins. So yeah, Kokomo has been kind of shut down. Still not out of the realm that you guys could see some, but even what's moving from Lafayette, Tippecanoe County, all of that still staying likely south of Kokomo and maybe even south of Howard County. So, but keep. Okay, thank you. Ashley, our producer, just updated about the airport. We do have some delays out of St. Petersburg, Las Vegas, and Dallas. So if you have, I'm sorry, Denver, I didn't mean Dallas, Denver. So if you have friends that you're picking up or relatives that you're picking up tonight, definitely check to make sure that they are coming in on time or whatever time they're coming in, because these are delayed. It sounds like they're still trying to come in, but they're delayed. Likely they left later from their destination and moving this way. So hopefully that helps. But nonetheless, we still have some rain that's falling near the airport, and Plainfield getting hit heavily right now along I-70, some very heavy downpours. What about Greenwood? Okay, we haven't talked about Greenwood much. Johnson County, likely going to get hit heavily here. I'm going to back this up again. You can see that Greenwood here, starting to see at midnight, some rain moving through, and it's likely going to increase with intensity, Greenwood. As you can see to the northwest, there is still a lot of heavy downpours, and again, a lot of moisture to work with these, and that's going to be heading your way, Greenwood. Let's see, how about Henry County? Michael Noah asking about Henry County. So, let me see. Henry County is not going to see much for a while. It's going to take a while, but we're going to have, let me grab my telestrator here. This area will eventually move this direction. But right now, Henry County pretty quiet at this hour, although that hasn't been the case earlier this evening. It's been a minute, a few hours, but nonetheless. Clear that back out again. And let me put this in motion here while I take a look. Okay, guys. I guess you guys are hanging here with me. So we'll just keep on rocking here. We just had that warning expire up to the north. We'll stay on here for a little bit longer and watch for this storm that's moving into western Indiana. However, if it starts to go into Sullivan County, not really in our viewing area, doesn't mean that you don't have friends that live there. Claire says, Kelly, what do you do to get through the night, like coffee, or how do you stay up late? I'm on full adrenaline, Claire. I have not had any coffee since this morning, and I actually didn't have time to eat dinner, so I'm not even hungry. I could lose weight if I did this all the time. That would be great. But no, I'm glad that we don't have to do this. I will tell you that this has been kind of a, dusting off the tools a little bit, because we've been pretty quiet when it comes to severe weather. So diving back into this, I apologize that Sean is a rock star, he's amazing. Stumbled and trying to get used to our tools again, because we just haven't had a lot of activity. So that's definitely some good news. But great. Okay. All right. Ashley, our producer, just said we have some IU campus flash flooding. We're going to pull that up for you guys to take a look at it. Wow. Wow, that's right on Kirkwood. Yeah, there it is. See, I was just in Kirkwood a few weeks ago, and they have blocked off a lot of those streets, which is actually great timing. But my gosh, that is incredible. Look at all of that. That is amazing. I'm gonna let this roll a few more times, guys, because this is just incredible flooding. This is Kirkwood, the main strip downtown Bloomington, where all the kids hang out. Lots of bars down this stretch. Nick's, Upstairs Pub, Mother Bear's. It's all, being impacted by this flooding here. They shut down the street so that there is no cars on there for part of Kirkwood, not all of the stretch, but this stretch that we're showing you here, absolutely covered in rain. You can see farther off north there. I think that's north. I could be getting my directions wrong. That is showing where the cars are still moving through, but that's kind of the lower area of Kirkwood's Avenue. So, wow, just amazing. And unfortunately, Bloomington going to continue to get hit. We can come back to radar, guys. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is amazing video and honestly just devastating. And hopefully those businesses along there can recover from that, because it's hard to say. Wow. Oh, that makes me very sad. Oh, we have another severe thunderstorm warning that is just issued. So, friends, I'm glad we're staying on here with you. Severe thunderstorm warning for Owen County. Owen is really stretching farther to our southwestern portion of our viewing area. We've been talking about this area, though, as I mentioned, that there's likely some hail with it just a few minutes ago. This is in effect until 1 a.m. It's popping up there. It's jumping around on me here. Let me stop this for a moment here, guys. So yeah, it's located near Spencer, obviously. We can say it's just to the northwest. It's still about 21 miles northwest of Bloomington. It's moving east at 40 miles per hour. And hail damage is expected with this. So another large hailer, unfortunately. Is really a big, bad bummer. And torrential rain again. And this is all, unfortunately, heading towards Bloomington again. Big fat bummer. Let me see if I can put on a tracker here. No, that's moving too fast. It's one thing I don't like about this tracker. I'm going to take it from the leading edge because we know it's moving 40 miles per hour. That'll get me there. All right, so Ellettsville arriving in about 4 minutes. IU 14 minutes, Bloomington 15 minutes, which is basically the same as IU and Bloomington. So that storm is going to have more impacts right along that Kirkwood Avenue area, unfortunately. Yeah, we have more video, so let's go ahead and give it a play. This is from Kilroy's, which is also right on Kirkwood. Okay, kids out there. Oh my gosh. Wow. That is really high. That is incredible. Oh no. Oh my gosh. Those are picnic benches. Look at how high the water is. Oh, this just bumming me out. Oh, I think oh, I don't want to cry. I'm sorry. Water is so devastating and it just can ruin so much. And I hate to see this for Bloomington, for the students that are down there, likely some studying summer school. Wow. Oh, I'm just so sorry. I'm just so sorry that I have to share that with you. That's terrible. Oh. And unfortunately, more is on the way. That is just really, really devastating. My apologies. All right, so we still have this Owen County warned storm until 1 a.m. You can see that these bright purples depicting large hail. And unfortunately, you know, we could see more damaging hail out of this storm, and then of course the heavy rain. So let's take a look at the rain rate on this one here. And let me query it. And this is saying almost 5 inches of rain per hour. Again, like I mentioned, it's with a grain of salt with how much is actually falling. It's an estimate, but nonetheless, it's devastating. It's just devastating. I'll zoom back out here and we'll take a look at the storm relative velocity. That doesn't look like there's any kind of spin up with that, so that's definitely some good news, but Hail, heavy rain, going to be the main threats out of those storms. That other storm out of east central Indiana, that one is gone out of Wayne County. It's pushed off to the east. I'll go back to reflectivity. I don't mean to bounce around on you guys. Still watching this massive one here again, moving out of Illinois, eventually making its way into Sullivan, possibly into Knox County, Vigo County. And we still have those flash flood warnings in effect, but want to hit on downtown Indianapolis because I know we're getting hit with some very heavy rain right now. We are not warned in Marion County. This is not a warned storm. I do think that we're likely seeing some small hail, but certainly heavy rain is going to be a big factor with these storms and a lot of lightning. So it just continues to be the case. Okay. Yeah, so we have more video from Bloomington. We'll go ahead and pull that up as well. Oh my gosh. Wow. And that's the stretch I mentioned that they've closed down. They've opened it up for a restaurant eating, picnic benches and tables. The chairs look like they're even just almost floating at this point. The water is up to the seat of the picnic table benches. Oh my gosh, I think that's at Upstairs Pub where that video is taken from, up there on the balcony, just looking down on the devastation down below, that flooding. You can see obviously a lot of lightning that they caught in that video too. Wow. Just devastating. And I hope that the restaurants and stores along Kirkwood Avenue can survive this flooding because it's bad. This is terrible. I'm so sorry. And we're not out of it, friends. So stay with me here. We still have more storms popping up. We'll go up to northwest central Indiana. We haven't been up to Benton, Warren, Fountain counties. These are new showers and storms that are starting to pop up, some heavy rain. This one near Oxford, probably going to produce some hail. Let's see if I can put the hail swath on it. May not have anything picked up. Yeah, not just yet. We'll watch for that because these are just firing very quickly. This is 15 minutes. Let me back this up. That's just 15 minutes. Boom. It just appears. We have a little bit of lift, and it doesn't take much for these just to explode. That's just a 15-minute time lapse. Here is a 1-hour time lapse, and I'll spread out here going over Clinton County. We had some stronger storms in Carroll County and north of that area, but Carroll County is being shut out of that right now. But these storms that are being produced in Benton, Warren, and Fountain counties, they're going to dive into Tippecanoe and into Montgomery County. So let me pause this again, put this on no lapse, and just kind of do a little round robin here. We still have some heavy storms in Hamilton County. Doesn't look like much hail involved, but certainly heavy rain, but very heavy rain right now in Marion County, moving into New Pal and Greenfield, heading towards Carthage, Knightstown, Spiceland. These areas I've already seen heavy rain tonight. And into Morgan County, it's already had some heavy rain. Let's look at Mooresville here. I'll back this up 1 hour. Mooresville has had some very heavy rain throughout the evening, and that one is now exiting. It's now moving farther to the southeast and moving into Johnson County. So Franklin, if you're listening, if you're on Facebook Live, that looks like some hail that's going to be moving in towards you. And I'll back this up 15 minutes. and it doesn't take much how fast these just really fire up into the atmosphere with incredible heavy rain. And then I'm just going to slowly back this up. You can see how it moved through Bargersville and across US 31, making its way towards Franklin. So Franklin, heads up, large hail headed your way. We'll see if that storm becomes warned from the National Weather Service. But this is the main one that we have right now until 1 a.m. It is 12:46, friends. Let's see what we have here. What about tomorrow morning? Will I be able to go fishing in the morning, like around 10 a.m.? Jermont asking that. Jermont, I think we're going to actually have a break in the morning. I know sometimes rainy mornings are actually good for fishing. That's what I've heard. I don't know. I don't fish, but I actually think we should be dry in the morning after around by 7 a.m. and then several dry hours until about mid-afternoon where things start to fire back up again. April's asking about Columbus. Let me zoom into Columbus. All right, so Bartholomew County has is under part of this flash flood warning. It does not include Columbus, and I've lived in Columbus, April, so I know Columbus has some low-lying areas, and there are some floodplains in that area that can bring some devastation as well, and that area has been hit tonight. I'll back this up here, and you can see rounds of showers and thunderstorms moving over Columbus. Bartholomew County, though, the southwestern edge of this area, let me outline it for you. This is, sorry, I actually didn't do that very well. This is the area of the actual flash flood warning for Bartholomew County. Doesn't include Columbus. That doesn't mean that that area isn't going to see some very heavy rain and possibly some flash flooding. Excuse me. All right, Illinois still seeing some strong storms in that neck of the woods. Zoom out here, and actually I'm going to take a little wider look. We'll take a look at the national view here. So friends, this is what we're watching out for. I'll put this in 1 hour motion. This is what we've been talking about, that there's just more on the way. More storms continue to push in. Okay, looks like they are going to be issuing a new warning, so stand by. I'm just checking some of the chat room here that we use to kind of keep you updated on what the storm watchers and emergency managers, ham operators, and of course the National Weather Service are seeing out there. All right, we have a new warning. So it's going to pop up on my system in a moment. So let me zoom in back into our regular radar. Well, might have read that incorrectly here. So we still have this warning here. That was my apologies. I think that I was reading that incorrectly. My apologies. I'm trying to look at too many things. Stand by with me, friends. All right, I'll go back to some of your questions. I know that there is, even just the thunder alone is upsetting, especially to pets. And we definitely have a lot of that. These have been incredibly big lightning makers out of these storms. And still a flash flood warnings that we have in effect. Definitely a concern. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of them developing here. All right, guys, since we still have that warned storm down there, I'm just going to take us back a little bit here and check out some of what future track is going to show throughout the rest of the evening. So this is 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 and 4:30. Okay, so that moves out around 5 or 6 in the morning. I think bulk of it will be out of here by then. And let me go ahead and even slow this down a little bit for you. So looking at radar and we're almost at 1 a.m. and this is showing it farther north. So I don't love that. So I'm going to try to pull up a different model and see if we can get a different view. There's different models that we look at. Some do better than others. This one's not doing very good either. Nope. Let's see how this one does. All right, this one's doing better. So this matches up a little bit better at what we actually have currently on radar. It's not right spot on, but it's a little closer. These models ingest what is happening, and then they spit out all of this data, but it takes several hours for them to come up with this data. So as we go through the 1 o'clock hour, you can see we're still going to see more of these training storms moving over Hendricks and Marion counties and moving through Shelby County, then into southeast central Indiana. But then more rounds of storms will be possible. And those storms that I just showed you, that's out in Iowa and in Illinois, those are going to continue to fire in as well. So this model showing storms still around until 6:30. Let me stretch out the time a little bit more till 10 a.m. And by 10 a.m., 9:30, 10, we're going to see a lot of this moving out. So if you have those fishing plans at 10 a.m., hopefully that will be okay. Then we'll see many dry hours tomorrow, and we expect to see more storms popping up. Again, because it's just one of those days. One of those weekends. Sean Brown says the models have been a dumpster fire. Yes, thanks, Sean. No doubt. It's been tough to follow. It's tough to pinpoint exactly where these storms are going to land, okay? So while they are guidance, they are not always 100%. But nonetheless, they've done pretty good in the fact that we knew that we were likely going to see very heavy rain just with the incredible warm air that we have in place and the high dew points. So let's take a look at what is actually happening currently. And we've actually lost some of our weather stations here. 75 in Terre Haute, 70 in Indianapolis, still 84 in Lafayette, and 68 in Richmond. So starting to see some cooler air, some rain-cooled air moving in with these. The dew points at 11 o'clock tonight, they were in the low 70s. They're still in those low 70s and upper 60s. So pretty incredible with that. Let's see if I can take a look here at downtown Cam. Yeah, pretty wet conditions out there. Not sure if I'm going to see much lightning on this one anymore. Thank you. I have the best coworkers. They're adjusting the camera for me. Looking a little bit farther to the south. I mean, we've just hit with heavy rain in downtown Indy, so the camera is still very wet. But a lot of lightning to the south and to the north. Whew. Let's see here. See if I can pull up another camera. Oh goodness, I'm not even sure why that one's in there. Okay. Yeah, it's just been a very busy night, guys. Let's see, Samantha says Martinsville. Wants to know about Martinsville. So let's go back to radar here. Morgan County's been hit with a lot of rain. Getting a little bit of a break though, Martinsville. That's some good news. And you're right on that edge of that flash flood warning. That is because you guys have had some very heavy rain. I'll back this up 3 hours and let's just play through Martinsville. Look at all the heavy rain that's fallen through Martinsville. But you're finally getting a break, some dry time. That's some good news. But just some incredible storm coverage. These have been really exploding as they've moved in. Really just takes a little bit. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. This little storm cell that we have popping up in Greencastle, just north of Greencastle in Putnam County, I wouldn't be surprised if this one just starts to explode, because northern Putnam County hasn't had a lot of action tonight. So it looks like there could be a little bit of hail with it as well, heading towards Bainbridge. Okay, just got an update that the flash flood warning is still continuing in south central Indiana. Not a surprise there, unfortunately. We have another one south of that area until 4:30, and then another one till 4 a.m. and that stretches a little bit farther out of our viewing area, actually down into southern Indiana. And looking at some ugly storms in Illinois, Galesburg, ugh, that looks like some major hail again. So haven't really been watching that too much, so let's take a look at the national view then. Yeah, that area hasn't really gotten worked over much today, so I have a feeling it's just running into some really juicy environment there. Had a few showers, but nothing major earlier tonight. I'm backing this up 8 hours now, friends. So just kind of doing some nowcasting just to see what's actually happening. Sometimes with the model data, they're not always rock stars. Looks like they just issued that one into now a warning, the one that I just was gawking at here in Galesburg. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I apologize if you're from the area. Galesburg, thank you. Nick, our director, said Galesburg. So that's just actually, say that again? Oh, okay, he went to school in Macomb, which is down here and not getting hit, thankfully. Yeah, that's a pretty ugly storm, and it is tornadic. Seeing some rotation within that, and I've backed this up way too far, so let me take this back to no lapse here so you can see. Just a busy, active system, even this late at night, and that's why we can have these nocturnal tornadoes that can hit your city in the middle of the night, and that's why we ask you to have a way to get warnings. We want you to make sure that you have the live Doppler 13 radar app where it notifies you if there is a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning. It will even alert you that there's lightning in the area, which is also great if you're just out at a soccer game in the middle of the day. So definitely good idea to make sure you have a way to get alerts on your phone. Let's head back to Indiana, because that's definitely way out of our viewing area, but just want you to see what is actually up back behind with these triggers continuing to initiate very strong storms. The storm that was warned in Illinois, it's now moving into western Indiana and likely some strong hail, but the National Weather Service has not put out a warning for it yet. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a warning. It looks like could be some hail, and I'll put on the hail swath, but it's not majorly showing much right now. Again, these are moving pretty fast. They're developing very fast, so the radar takes time for it to come back and initialize what is actually happening. So there's a delay no matter what, but and these storms are farther away from the radar site. I mean, the radar site is just west of I-465 on the southwest side of town in Marion County, but these start to look up farther in the environment, which is one of the reasons why we have these hail swaths of showing, you know, that the higher up in the atmosphere, that's where we're getting these stones to be created. We need a freezing level for that to happen. Philip says, stop talking about tornadoes. That is a dirty word. No doubt, I agree. Are there any storms heading for Marion this Saturday morning? Hi, Blaze. So let me put this radar reflectivity on so I'm not like leaving you guys here. I really think that we'll see a break in the storms by mid-morning, if not earlier, Blaze, in Marion County. I think a lot of this is going to move out, but it's going to take several more hours before we start to see a lot of this starting to dissipate. Because what we see back to our west could still impact central Indiana during the morning hours. So we do expect this to continue for, you know, probably until about 7, 8, maybe even 9 o'clock in the morning. But by mid-morning, hopefully a lot of it will be gone. Anything for Bedford area in a camper? Oh, Lisa, hi. So I guess you're hanging tough down there since you've already had some storms heading through there. Let me back this up over the past hour. Over Bedford, my goodness, in a camper, that's tough. I hope you guys are staying safe. A lot of lightning out there. May have had a little bit of hail. I'm not sure if you had any hail in there, but looks like Lawrence County, at least the eastern portion of it, could see some hail. Maybe not large hail, but pea-sized hail nonetheless. Rachel Combs says Spencer has been bad. Oh, yes. Well, yes, you're still under the warning. Well, it looks like they might have expired that warning. Need to keep up with this here. Give me a second here. Okay, yeah, I'm a couple minutes behind on that one. My apologies. That one expired a few minutes ago, but nonetheless, Spencer, you're still getting some heavy downpours. I'm going to slow this down, turn this into no lapse. So this is definitely decreased in intensity. That's thankfully good, but it's still very heavy rain and likely some hail with it. And like I had said, it is moving towards Bloomington. As you can see here, we still have it. Clay, okay. We have another severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Clay and Vigo County, the one that we've been watching that was in Illinois. I'm not surprised that they issued that. Give it a moment. It's going to show up here. But for Clay and Vigo counties, there it is. Okay, so that one is until 1:45, friends. These are slow, moving slowly. However, it will likely expire before then. They seem to be moving a little faster than that. A lot of lightning, likely some hail with this. And again, it's until 1:45. It's moving east at 45 miles per hour. It's just about 8 miles southeast of Terre Haute. And likely some gusty winds with it. And maybe some 1-inch size hail. So let's zoom in here a little closer and look at some of the areas that might be impacting along I-70. Goodness. All these areas in purple are what we're expecting to be the large hail. And it's just along that I-70 stretch, unfortunately. Gosh, I hope if anybody is traveling on that, they're pulling over because this is just intense rain falling. I'll go ahead and put it in motion here. And this is the past 1 hour, moving quickly off to the east at 45 miles per hour. It's already made its way into Center Point, which is also in the line of this storm, in the line of the severe thunderstorm warning, and stretches all the way into almost 6 points, but in Bowling Green. So this is all very strong storms and still pushing east at 45 miles per hour. See if I can put a little tracker on this one. Spencer, since we just talked about you, I'm going me get close here. 45 miles per hour. Spencer, you're going to see the brunt of this storm arriving in 19 minutes. And Kegel's Mill Lake in 6 minutes. Hopefully I'm saying that town correctly. Let's take a look at the other part of the storm because this is a pretty massive one. I'm going to take this from here and move east. Whoops. 45 miles an hour. And Clay City, 15 minutes. We'll see that storm, okay? So Clay City, you're in the vicinity of this storm right now, having some impacts on Farmersburg. Farmersburg, you're going to start to see more intensity out of the storm. The warning polygon is actually just to the north, but I think the storm off to the west, and that is still in, moving out of Illinois. It's going to have more impacts down into Fairbanks, Shelburne, and Jasonville. Let me clear this off. We still have mesoscale discussion. Severe threat continues, and we just still have a lot of good shear to work with, a lot of instability, some buoyancy in the atmosphere. So they might be extending the watch, it looks like. So again, as I mentioned, the watch is until 2 a.m. But with the activity that we've had and just these ongoing storms continuing to have some major impacts, they may extend that watch. And I'll put the watch back on so you know who that does include. As you can see, let me click off that. It includes most of central Indiana. Tippecanoe is actually not in it. Neither is Howard County or Carroll County and all those counties to the north. I won't go through all of them, but they might include them in this next go round. We'll see. Maybe they'll just extend it. Let me go ahead and turn that back off again. All right, friends, just very busy with all these storms still impacting the area. Are you still with me? Let me take a look. No, I have a lot of comments here. Hello, Alexandria. Any warnings for Mount Comfort area? No. Has Mooresville had a lot of rain this evening? Yes. So here's Mooresville. I'll just put a little circle on here. If perhaps Amanda is not home and has not seen the storms coming through, I'll back this up 3 hours and we'll play through here. All the storms that move through Morgan County, Mooresville. Okay, I'll go ahead and clear that back out again. I'll zoom out here. Now I've backed this up 3 hours, so you're seeing some old warnings popping up. So let me turn those off for just a moment so you can see how these are developing. The lightning hasn't been quite as intense as it was earlier. However, the storm off in Vigo and moving into Clay counties, it has a lot of lightning with it. I'm just trying to spin through some of this area. Can you go to Rush, please? Rush County. So we can go to Rush County. And this is, again, the past 3 hours. So I'll just keep this time lapse on Rushville. You're going to have more storms moving in very shortly. Corey is asking, will these storms stay north of Lake Monroe? Well, let's look. We had some good storms moving through there earlier. I'm going to turn this off to no lapse at this point. I was at Lake Monroe last weekend, actually stayed at the Four Winds with a state convention I was at. Such a beautiful area, such an awesome lake. And let's take a look at the past hour and put this in motion here. So Lake Monroe was hit with some heavy rain just after midnight. And it's continued to push on through. This is at 12:49. And now we are at 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:10 to be specific. And it's quiet right now. However, Corey, we are going to see more of these storms that are to our northwest that are going to be impacting Bloomington, making its way into Lake Monroe as well. This past hour. I'm not quite sure how fast they're moving. I'm going to go with, they look like they're moving southeast though. And we'll put in a storm tracker and see the heaviest rain. And we'll go around 45 miles per hour. Okay, so this next round moving into Bloomington in about 3 minutes, Clear Creek in 4 minutes, and Lake Monroe, Corey, 13 minutes. You'll likely see this next round of rain moving in. It won't be nearly as intense as the last round, but it's definitely going to be another round of rain and some lightning. Not as much lightning with that one. Clear that out. Ugh. I'm picking up likely some rotation here to our west in Illinois. Don't love that. Tough to see this far out, but there is some shear where we have rain moving towards radar and rain moving away from radar. The green's going towards, red's going away. So there is a little bit of rotation within that storm. We'll have to watch and see. I'll put the reflectivity. This is pretty far out, and again, this is not in our viewing area, but there is a little inflow going in here, so it helps steer the storm with a nice updraft to provide some of those ingredients for the rotation. So yeah, that's still a very strong storm that's moving into western Indiana. Likely some heavy hail as well near center point. It's moving that way. Let me turn off the lightning again. This is our hail swath. I'll look at the shear swath and see if that's picking up anything. Yeah, it's still early. I'll have to come back to that one, but the shear rate, not showing much on that either. I'm just kind of glancing here at some of the Corey Collins, he just said thank you. That was the one about Lake Monroe. Last round was wild. I bet it was. Pretty crazy. All right, friends, I'm still awake. Are you still awake out there? I'm just looking to see if we have anything new coming down here. It has been a wild night, no doubt. Let me put the lightning back on here. So as we mentioned, we knew that these storms were going to continue to spread, fire, train, where we just have these heavy downpours. Let me put the warnings back on here so you can see them. The flash flood warnings, and of course the severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 1:45. So this will likely continue to push east. It'll make its way into Owen County. It might skim southern Putnam County, maybe Greene, but unfortunately working its way back into Monroe County, which we hate to see that. Just been an ugly night. And still watching what's happening out in Illinois. Put this in motion again. Over the past 1 hour, these storms have just been firing again. Looks like my computer was dragging there a little bit. So Marion County was getting a little bit of a break, but we're already starting to see more development moving in. So let me zoom in here. So that's an hour, and then this pushed out. And now we have this new development. So this will likely come together too. It doesn't look like there's any lightning with it right now, but I'm going to keep pushing to the east-southeast. You can see its motion. Moving back into Marion County, so another round moving in. I think I saw somebody ask about a round of, what's the next hours look like for Fishers? Well, Fishers is going to get hit pretty soon, actually. So obviously Fishers was hit earlier the past, I should say today, because now it's Saturday. But we have more to the west, to the northwest, in northwestern Hamilton County. So this is moving towards Fishers. We have another stronger storm and heavy rain moving into Noblesville here in the next couple of minutes. So it's on its way. I will say these do not have as much lightning, so they're losing some of their instability, but still a lot of buoyancy in the atmosphere, a lot of energy to work with. Certainly a juicy environment, and unfortunately, we still have some strong updrafts, which is causing some of these large hailers that we have. Okay, Vigo County reporting half-inch size, that is, hail. Sealyville and Vigo County. Okay, so this is where the storm report came from, was Sealyville. I'll go ahead and circle it for you here, and we'll back this up. Okay, so this came in, and even radar wasn't showing a lot of purples here, pausing this at 109. That's half-inch size hail, which is not considered severe, but it just gives us an idea of what's happening with this storm system. If we look farther to the south of that area, whoops, let me turn that off. That's, shoot, my apologies. That's where really we're seeing the intense part of the storm. So while Sealyville is actually in the warned portion of the storm, the most intense part is right here, all the way into Center Point. Okay, so that's where we're really watching for the strongest part of the storm. We're expecting the large hail. And that's why it's warned for a severe thunderstorm warning, because of the hail. Okay, so, and the National Weather Service has gone ahead and just continued the severe thunderstorm watch until 2 a.m. So we'll see if that changes, but they just sent that update out. Mike's asking if I can play the map ahead an hour to see which direction the red blob in Terre Haute is moving. Okay, so it's technically moving to the southeast. I can't make it go a whole hour out. this is radar, so it doesn't forecast. However, it can give us an idea of the direction it's moving. So let me put it in motion for you. We know that these are just new storms that just keep popping up on radar. This is the past hour. So it is moving off to the east-southeast. And I believe it was moving around 45 miles per hour. Let me double check. It lets me click on it. Yeah, it's still moving east-southeast at 45 miles per hour. So stand by. Let me do a bit of a time lapse here. I can't go out more than 45 on this. Oops. So at this point, I can really just go out to Spencer at 16 minutes and Freedom at 11 minutes. So that is the time of arrival with those storms. Now I can turn on the skits here. We'll see what this does. So that's giving us a little idea too. This is saying east-southeast at 30 miles per hour, so it's slowed it down. So that's interesting. And the hail side's below severe, which is good, but it does say that there's hail with the storm. Good question. Thank you, Mike. All right. So Corey's asking, is it moving east or east-southeast? They're moving all directions right now. I shouldn't say all directions. They're moving east and east-southeast in many of these. Some of them are moving just southeast if we take a look farther to the north. These skits help show you a little bit of what direction they're moving in. So this one in Tippecanoe County moving towards Clinton County. It's moving more easterly. According to this, again, it's radar depicted, moving towards Clarks Hill in 17 minutes, Mulberry in 21 minutes. Hail is hopefully less than a half an inch. Stand by. All right, getting some reports in from Fulton County, Illinois. So we won't worry about that right now. This one that's moving into Rush County towards Rushville. It's going to arrive in Rushville in about 21 minutes and could see some hail out of it as well. Moving east-southeast at 40 miles per hour. And then we looked at these, but we'll go ahead and put a little tracker again here. Spencer in 27 minutes. That's showing about the same. And the brunt of the storm is still just continuing to push across Center Point. So Center Point's just going to get hit with very heavy rain and some hail. Even the back end of it won't be there for at least another 10 or 15 minutes. It's incredible. Okay. I'm still here with you, friends. Just trying to check the data, making sure I'm not missing anything. Nancy Louise says it's here in Westfield again. Yep, it sure is. Hamilton County getting hit. How long will this second round be in Indianapolis? Jermont's asking. Well, unfortunately, Jermont, we're going to see this through, but then we have more behind it. So this that's moving through Montgomery County will start impacting Marion as well. So even though this will be out of here, let's see, I could put a timeline on here. Let me see if I can see. Whoopsies, excuse me. Oh, this is actually putting some skits on there for me. This storm cell here is going to make its way into Danville in about 27 minutes, but Amo, 22 minutes, but you're already seeing some rain. So there is that. Coatesville, seeing some heavy downpours. Hendricks County. There we go. Clear that off. Sarah Smith asking, what about Anderson? Good question. Okay, so Anderson, let's put these in motion so we see the flow here. The good news is it looks like some of the northern portion of this in Hamilton County is actually falling apart quite a bit. So when we put the time lapse on, that doesn't mean that it couldn't ramp back up again though, unfortunately, because Madison County hasn't had a lot of storm coverage tonight, so it could start to increase with intensity. But the one that's moving out of Noblesville heading towards LaPel will be making its way into Anderson. So Oriana, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Oriana asked about Anderson. It's going to be moving in shortly. Let me see if I can do a little time lapse. I'm not quite sure on the time of how fast these are moving. I'm going to go with about 40 miles per hour. So Anderson about 13 minutes. Now 12. Jessica asked if tornado threat is done for most of us. I hope so, but we cannot yet determine that. Watching out for the storm that was moving across eastern Illinois. Didn't love what I was seeing there, so I'm not going to rule it out. Not going to rule it out. It doesn't look nearly as ominous as it did earlier. But nonetheless, we just still need to be weather aware with these storms. Danielle wants to know if Kokomo will be hit. So I'm not seeing a lot of activity that far north, honestly, but that doesn't mean it couldn't happen during the overnight hours. I do think most of it will dive farther south of Howard County, so you guys might be in good shape with that. Any tornado threat in second round hitting Marion County? I don't think this is, there's nothing except another. It's just some heavy rain with this. No. Maybe some gusty winds though. But for the most part, just thinking more heavy rain, not even showing any light. Let me turn on the lightning right now. Not a lot of lightning even out of these storms around the metro area. So they're definitely seeming to lose a little bit of that part of the storm system, which is good. Just started pouring in Middletown near Anderson. I remember where Middletown is, my apologies. Okay, so it will be there soon if you're in Anderson. Just keep that in mind. And I'm trying to catch this guy, you guys, but there's a lot on here, so. He's asking about Tipton. So Tipton kind of, it's on that fringe of maybe not seeing anything much the rest of the night, although actually to our west we're going to see more. So starting to get a little tired here, guys. My apologies. So out of Clinton, we're going to see that next wave moving into Tipton. So Tipton has been hit a bit. It's really Howard County has not had much tonight. Yeah, I can't go up that far. Let me do. So out of Frankfort, Michigan Town in 8 minutes, Kirkland 10 minutes, Forest in 14 minutes. Let's take a look at this one again here near Knightstown. Okay, so it's already over Knightstown, but the back edge of it should be through in about 6 minutes, Knightstown. And Spiceland, you'll still see some storms on the back side of this one, but 13 minutes, the heaviest part of the storm will move through. Louisville, 22 minutes, and Strawn in 28 minutes. Could see some hail with this, not severe though. And I'll just take a look at this one that's moving out of northern Putnam County. This is the one that was moving over Bainbridge, moving towards Danville, and moving into Danville in about 27 minutes. Could see some hail with it as well, moving east about 30 miles per hour. Let me clear these out. Any tornado threat in Barkersville? Well, not right now. Might have more heavy rain is likely, and Johnson County's already gotten hit a bunch, so could see more heavy downpours in that area. Let's see, what about Henry County? Philip wants to know about Henry County. I think maybe I'm going backwards on some of these, my apologies. So, Henry County, let's put this in motion. Got more storms initiating a bit. Won't be super intense, but there's another round moving through Henry County. It's going to impact Newcastle here shortly. I'm going to try to scroll down. I'm not sure if I'm all the way down here. It's raining so hard here in Columbus. When will the next round come? That's Samantha. Samantha, thanks for your question. I'll zoom back out here. So we have this out in Columbus here. Columbus has had the brunt of the storm moving out, but what we're watching out for is this next swath of rain that's going to be moving that direction. This is going to be moving into Bartholomew County. One-inch size hail. It's only moving, it's now moving east at 22 miles per hour, so we'll see if that still maybe takes more of a southeasterly turn. Maybe, but I still think some of it is going to hit Columbus. Let me clear that off. Let me see if I can do a tracker on my own, on another radar here, so I can get a little idea that I can go out farther from Columbus. I think it'll be over an hour, Columbus, before you will see the brunt of that storm moving in, unless it speeds up. They've been slowing down and speeding up. Just kind of looking here. Is there any hail cores for storms in Crawfordsville? It's moving out of Crawfordsville for the most part. There was just a tiny hail core maybe. Back this up for the past. Just backing it up. So Crawfordsville, you got hit a little bit, but really kind of split over you. The northern part stayed north, the heaviest part, and the really heavy part stayed farther south, making its way across New Market in the southern portion of Montgomery County. And then it really wasn't until it got into eastern Montgomery County where we start to see a little bit of possible hail being depicted on radar. So no, don't think you had any hail with that one. Let's take a look at this one that's moving through fissures. This is moving east-southeast at 45 miles per hour, and here's the time of arrival. Hopefully the back end of it will arrive in fissures in 6 minutes. So it'll be hopefully out of there in 6 minutes, fissures. Geist, you already have it moving over you, but the back end will be there in about 10 minutes. McCordsville will be 14 minutes. Fortville, you'll see the storm in 18 minutes, Ingalls in 21 minutes, and Pendleton 26 minutes, and Greenfield 29 minutes. So that's the southern part, the more intense part. So Anderson, you're not going to see the heaviest rain. However, you're still already starting to see some rain. There's Middletown over here. So we have Middletown seeing just some light rain, but more intense rain going to be moving in there shortly. Let's zoom in on this one. So we had a question about Mooresville. 30 minutes, the back end of that storm will be pushing through. Stylesville, it's already partially over Stylesville, but you're going to miss out on a bunch of the storms, so that's good news. Clayton, you're already seeing some heavy downpours out of it. Hopefully it'll be out of here in the next less than 15 minutes. Monrovia in 22 minutes. The storm will be making its way towards you, and Mooresville in 30 minutes. All right, guys, let's take another look at this warned storm down here. Don't want to miss out on our friends. This one until 1:45. We have more heavy rain moving towards Gosport, unfortunately, and more into Spencer. Prairie Creek, likely seeing some large hail and probably going to be making its way into Farmersburg here as well with the large hail. It's already getting very heavy downpours. Just taking a look here. Got some delayed reports here. I won't mention those right now. Okay, so now the National Weather Service actually just expired the severe thunderstorm warning for Clay and Vigo counties. So that still popped up here on my end, but it will eventually clear out. So that's definitely some good news. And that will be the last severe thunderstorm warning we have in effect. That's great that these storms are weakening. I do believe that there's still some large hail with these storms. And you can see here, it's still depicting that one that I'm looking at here, just north of Prairie Creek. Probable that there was some large hail within that storm. And it still looks to be producing that. Give this another moment. Oh, I know. Let's see here. $39. And And just checking here on Facebook Live. Candace said, if sirens go off in Greenfield, could someone post? I can't hear them at night. Thank you. The warning sirens are not actually for indoors or for outdoors. That's why we encourage you guys to put the notifications on your app. So on the Live Doppler 13 radar app, or if you have a NOAA weather radio, I have one of those at home as well. It's just good for them to go off at night while you are asleep. So that's one of the things that we really encourage you to have with you at all times, because the sirens that are outside, those are for when you are actually outside. They're to tell you to go indoors and turn on the TV to get the latest updates, or go to Facebook Live or YouTube or wherever you want to get your updates on the weather. Okay. Still waiting for some of this to clear out here, but let's go ahead and take a little wider look again. Put this in motion for you with a 1-hour time lapse. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put on our national, and I'm going to zoom out here and turn off the skits here. Just watching what's upstream. Hopefully these storms will continue to weaken. Owen County Dispatch reported multiple roads closed due to high water. That's all they've heard so far. So just really learning about all the significant flooding that's happening in these southern counties because of how extreme the storms have been. Now, there is dime-sized hail reported near Farmersburg. I thought it would be larger than that, but that's good. So we'll come down here towards Farmersburg. Let me turn off the lapse. So there's Farmersburg, and the storm report came in that reports of pea-sized hail in Farmersburg at 1:34, and a report of 50-mile-per-hour wind gust and dime-sized hail near Farmersburg at 1:39. So we can back this up. And you can see here at 139, that's 140. Farmersburg got hit with that hail swath, but at least it was below severe. So hopefully no damage in that area. For some reason, this storm continues to stay warned here. It should expire here now that it's 1:45, but that's the case, we're going to go ahead and dip out of this in just a minute or two. We might have more coming back in later on in the early morning hours. Lindsay Monroe should be here in the next 15 minutes or so. So she might take over and jump back on Facebook Live, but we'll stick around here for a couple more minutes to see if anything else pops up. I'll double check here on Facebook Live to see if there's any questions. Sean Brown just posted the weather radio, so thank you. Yeah? That's very possible. So Ashley, my producer, just asked if the National Weather Service will be doing a survey of Jay County, and it's very likely that they will do that. Because that will be handled out of the North Webster office, so they'll have to send somebody there to hit that one. I believe that's out of North Webster. So I know that it may take them some time to get there, but they, I know the National Weather Service out of Indianapolis was planning on doing some surveys, surveying today, that would be Saturday, and tomorrow on Sunday if need be. And so that would likely be the case as these warned storms produced in the very large hail, likely some winds. We haven't heard that much of the winds, but because we had so much hail, caused a lot of damage. So we'll see, but the National Weather Service is prepared. They have the manpower ready to go, unfortunately, for these storms tonight. Okay, just to recap again, we still have some these flash flood warnings, and these are definitely something to take very seriously. If you see any roads that are covered in water, please do not attempt to drive through them, especially at night. You can't see. You may drive right into a river, a creek, a stream. You don't know. It's just so hard. So please turn around, don't drown. You've heard it before. I'm going to say it again. This other one that does include Bloomington, Monroe County, where we've saw the devastating video there out of downtown Bloomington along Kirkwood Avenue. That flash flood warning in effect until 4:30. This one until 4 a.m. It does include Bartholomew County, a good chunk of Brown County down into Jackson County. So please be safe out there, friends. I know I didn't get to a lot of your questions. I apologize. But hopefully this was helpful to you. And this is just one of the biggest storms that we've had in really about a year. So it's been pretty incredible, and I hope that you stay safe. I hope that your home stays safe and that you didn't have any damage or flood damage. But just know that we'll be popping back on if there's any more severe warnings that pop up. I hope you have a great night. I'm Kelly Green, meteorologist here at Channel 13. Have a great weekend, and if you are a father, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to my dad, Gary Green. He's up in Fort Wayne. Love you guys. Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate your support. Be safe out there. Good night.